Hello again everyone, welcome back to another video on this wonderful platform we call the internet. And well, today I have a bit of a good news, bad news video. It's regarding that Skyline restoration project, whatever you want to call it. I was actually originally going to make this just a YouTube Shorts thing, like the previous ones, but I feel like it would go on for too long. Well, so will this, but with it being as long as it possibly might be, it's best that I just, make it a normal video. So, I'll just get into that now. So, for those who haven't been all caught up yet, back when I was in high school, I think 2016, 2017, managed to get my dad did, managed to get hands on a Nissan Skyline R33. Not a GTR, trust me, I fucking wish. But it was still a 2-door and all that. But yeah, so not the previous owner, but the owner before the previous owner, in all of his infinite wisdom, thought it would be a brilliant idea to turn the pressure all the way up on the turbo and, well, blew the engine. Now, yes, it was a DET engine, and for those who don't know, that means that it's a turbo engine, has turbo straight out of the factory. And yes, therefore, yes, it's a turbo engine, but it could only, but there's a limit to where you can have the pressure at. I guess that goes for any turbo engine really, like a 300ZX or a Super or something, But this big brain individual thought it'd be a great idea to turn it all the way up and, well, blew the engine, and then either sold it or gave it to the previous owner, someone else who ended up becoming the previous owner after this guy. And, well, as with most blown engines, you have to pull it apart and then do something and put it all back together. And, well, he had to move out in, I think, about a week, and therefore had nowhere else to store it, let alone cart around the rest of his stuff. So he traded it with my dad for a Nissan Patrol or Toyota Land Cruiser or something like that, a full drive of some sort, and gave it to us. And yeah, and it sat here for a little while, up until I think it was 2024 or 2025 last year, where we finally got in the workshop and started doing stuff to it. Pulled out what was left of the original DET engine and put in a Neo, which is for those who don't know, a non-turbo engine. We've made good progress, got in, connected it mostly up. This last week, put on the Neo manifold and all that. So, I mean, the DET manifold, turbo manifold, whatever you want to call it, and all that. But, however, though, while it's possible to convert it to a DET engine from a Neo to a DET, we've come across too many issues, I guess you could say. So, for example, certain wiring and plugs and all that don't connect, so we have to swap out certain things. We had to swap out coil packs, but of course they wouldn't plug into the ones that were in this engine, so we tried taking them out and putting the other ones in, and, well, of course the screws are different or whatever, or the holes don't line up properly or some bullshit. All because the end connector that goes towards the back of the engine or something like that. And so then, yeah, same thing with the manifold. A plug was different on that, so we took the Neo manifold off and then put the DET one on and all that. And, well, and then another to convert it from Neo, a non-turbo engine, to a turbo engine. And while yes, it is possible, it will require drilling a hole of some sort into the block itself, which is pretty much right down the bottom. And well, let's just say that you can't just get to it even with the engine and fit it into the engine bay, or at least you can from underneath, and then we have to thread a tube or wire of some sort through there and some other shit like that for it to then be turbo compatible. And at that point we might as well just get a DET engine, really, because at this point the amount of wiring that we cannot plug in and things that we can't connect, I honestly would be surprised that the car would even run, to be honest. Well, once again, yes, it is possible, but it's gonna cost us more money and more time because we have to swap around the plugs for the coil packs so then they connect to the ones that we want that will actually fit in, or because of the end connector that has to go to the back of the engine and all that, and also drill a hole or two into the block to then thread these cords or something into, and yeah, just for it to be turbo compatible. And well, yeah, once again, it is possible, but will cost us lots more time and money. So at this point, working on the Skyline is now pretty much halted, and will be working backwards now. In other words, working on getting this engine out to bed, get a DET to then put in and have everything, screw in and connect and plug in properly without having to, pull apart half the engine to put on a different part of another engine and all that bullshit. And yeah, so pretty much, yeah, starting next week, really gonna be working on pulling it out. And now we have to swap the manifold back over because it's a Neo engine, as I think I mentioned, but we've put a turbo manifold on it because we were going to do a conversion. So take that engine out, put the Neo manifold back on, and then sell the Neo engine, and then hopefully put that money towards the DET engine, and then just be able to just put it in, screw everything up and plug everything in the way it should be, and then it's good to go. This means that it will just be a bit longer till the car's up and running, but at least we'll know that we won't have to fuck around with swapping things over and all that, like what we've been doing. Because once again, we took the Neo manifold off and put the turbo manifold on, and yeah, there you have it. So once the other engine's out, then I'll probably resume with progress updates to say what's going on. But yeah, in the meantime, we're going to be going back to square one. Not fun, but in the long run, it will be much easier to do, and the things that we did to this engine while it was already connected up and all that, which made it harder, we'll be doing once it's out. So take it out and then swap the manifolds back over, because we put the engine in and then took off the Neo manifold and put the DET one on, which, and of course being in the engine bay, it was made it harder. So with it out, we'll be able to swap it around easier, and then sell that and then put that money towards the DET engine. And then because it came out of the factory with that engine in it, will be easier to put in. because everything will connect properly and screw properly and so on and so forth. You get the idea. Luckily though, there are some things that can be done in the meantime, I believe, such as reassembling the steering column, which is pretty much already done because I got new keys cut for that, genuine keys, but that's already all put back together. Probably cleaning out the back of it a bit, give the body kit a spray paint, rear bumper, front bumper and the side skirts and all that, give them a fresh coat of paint and all that in the meantime until we can save up money and get a DET engine, RB25 DET, and then sell the RB25 Neo. So yeah. So for those who have been watching and keeping up with all these updates, and well, anyone else in general, yeah, it probably won't be a little while till the next update. Probably, I don't know, another 1.5 to 2 weeks, because, well, with everything else going on, that's probably how long it will take to take the RB25 Neo out and then, you know, put its proper manifold back on, take the DET off and then put the Neo back on and all that, and then sell that, put the money towards RB25 DET. I already said that, but yeah, you get the idea. So yeah, probably not for another 1.5 to 2 weeks, I don't know. So yeah. Anyway though, thank you for watching. Feel free to like and subscribe for more videos, and I'll see you in the next one.